So let's start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and like what do you currently do?
Um, so currently I just graduated from UC Berkeley and I am living in DC now. I have a job working for just like public policy fellowship and that's what I'm doing now.
That's great. It's good. Like, could you tell me a little bit more about the role that you're in with the public policy fellow?
Yeah, I will just be essentially working on various issues. I'm working at the office of Congresswoman from California in the House of Representatives. So essentially, I'll probably be working on, developing like policy briefings, probably attending a few meetings, and kind of being filled in on preparing materials for the Congresswoman and anything she probably should be made aware of.
I see, I see. And like, do you feel that that your degree from your degree with the Funk Fellowship helped you in acquiring those skills?
Um, so let's see. In the fellow, I think I will need a lot of writing skills for the role I'm currently going into, and in that term, um, we don't really work on a lot of writing in the fellowship, to be honest. We are really good at working with different teams, and well, I haven't started this job yet. I don't start for
Oh, okay.
a few more weeks,
Hmm.
but I have heard that I will need to work and manage a lot of different personalities, and so as of now, I think that the fellowship will hopefully have prepared me to really work with people from different backgrounds and diverse teams. Like I said, I haven't actually started working, but I have been told that there is many different types of personalities on the Hill that I will encounter and need to learn how to manage. I'm hoping the fellowship help me with that.
I see.
Will have helped me with those skills.
That's
Additionally, like in working with a lot of leaders, I've heard there's a lot of people here have like really strong leadership capabilities and characters, and I think that was true for the fellowship as well. The fellowship had a really strong cohort. Everybody was a leader, sort of in their own way and in their own like area of expertise or sort of area of study. So hopefully that's something that's good that will come out of it.
I see, I see. So you mentioned that like the Funk Fellows program was really built very strongly around management and leadership skills, right? Like, could you tell me a little bit more about like how did the Funk Fellowship experience actually equip you with those skills? Like, was it the capstone? Was it the overall design of the course? Was it the curriculum, or how? Like, what was it?
I don't know if this was intentional, but I think they required us to. Well, I think it was intentional actually,
Okay.
but they did required us a leader in the second part of in the second year of fellowship to really come up with their own ideas. And so, as someone who I would say, college was a time of growth for me. Like going
True.
from someone that was a little bit more quiet and shy to really being someone who is more confident in their ideas and really willing to like present them and willing to take that criticism or that maybe like push back from time to time from peers in the group and in terms of like as you're trying to figure out like evolving your idea or whether that be like a product or service or whatever it may be. So I think yeah, it was
Okay.
intentional in the second year. Also in the first year, although it was a little bit more defined in the first year, where we had a certain topic, a certain issue, and then we worked on an idea around those issues, or as opposed to like the second year, like we weren't just like specifically held to a specific topic or issue. We had a lot more like ability and to choose what
Around
we wanted
research.
to do,
Okay.
wanted to work on.
That sounds good. That sounds good. But
Yeah,
tell me
and I
about
think another way they did that was in the connection to um, at least my team was working with a startup company, so the ability to um, eventually be like a one-on-one contact with the CEO of that company or like just project managers and yeah, you really have to develop that professionalism to have the conversations with them. You have to
I
have like
see.
materials prepared for going into those meetings.
I see. And do you feel that that's a very important skill to have? Like, talking with people from startups, like properly articulating your thoughts. And do you feel like these are some of the skills which are like very important in the industrial world?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely important to know how to talk to people and manage personalities. Yeah.
I get it. Okay. That's good. Could you tell me a little bit more about the capstone experience? Like I know like since the Funk Fellows was developed so that it had a good mix of technology engineers and it had a good mix of liberal arts students. And could you tell me a little bit about how that experience worked out for you? Like, do you feel that like you felt that the experience was awesome, there was awesome skill exchange between members of your team, or you felt that everyone was just doing what they're really good at and they did not really, there wasn't really any skill exchange?
Um, yeah, I felt like sometimes I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I come from a public health background, so I wasn't on the more technical, like, engineering side, and so I felt like it was really difficult for me, at least in the time in the fellowship, to pick up on those skills, and maybe pick up on, working knowledge and understanding of the technology. Like, I worked on the blockchain project, but, I never contributed like actual like more of that technical
I see.
skill into the project. My team actually mostly was, well, actually we're all more on the liberal outside, and it worked out well for us because the company had a lot of the engineers, and what they wanted was that, like, how do you bring this to the people perspective? So I think that worked out well in the end. Because they sort of handled the technology, we understood the technology, and we try to ask the bigger questions about like how do you turn this into a business model and sort of those types of questions that we were able to address. I would say there was a good amount of exchange in terms of maybe like the soft skills around maybe people who study business. So it kind of developing those business model maps and so we did a lot of those things which I would have traditionally not gotten in a traditional public health coursework type of thing.
I see.
I think there was somewhat of an exchange of skills, but I don't think it was in depth.
I see. But would you have wanted to learn the technological side of the startup, or were you happy with just learning what you really wanted to? What I'm trying to establish is that would you have wanted to learn about the technological side? Maybe, I don't know, was it coding, or were you just happy with doing your part within the team? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome.
I would say that I would have liked to learn more because sometimes I felt like I wasn't contributing enough, but I don't know if that was just I never, my team was never oh, you're slacking off. It just felt like I wished I could know more of that actual technical knowledge, maybe learn more of the maybe the data science side and data analytics and how to use some of those different programs. But I think it was just also kind of difficult for me to learn that. It wasn't learning those types of programs wasn't necessarily the focus of the fellowship.
I see.
So I don't think we had enough instruction, enough in-depth assignments to really be able to acquire those skills throughout the fellowship. But again, I don't think it was the main focus of the fellowship because there's separate coursework for that, and that's what was sort of reiterated to us throughout the fellowship, which I think at the end I was able to contribute and have a meaningful impact with my own personal background. So during the time, I wish I would have been able to contribute more of that technical side. But I think in the end, now looking back, I think it was important for me to remind myself that the public health perspective, that sort of human perspective, and understanding how hospitals work and how insurance and payments work was also really, really valuable. So like knowing to not devalue my own knowledge for, the sake of thinking, the technical, that sometimes, because I think there's sort of like a feeling, especially like around Silicon Valley, that like, you need to know the technical stuff, but like
True.
other knowledge is important as well.
True.
So I think it worked out.
That's good. Let me ask you this: like, would you have preferred if the program was more skill based rather than more curriculum based? So, like, when I say skill based, I mean like, what if they had just taught you, like like they have these individual courses, like they teach you Python, they teach you Java, they teach you public policy, they teach you public health. But it's but these are like individual skill set that they're giving you rather than the whole curriculum experience. Like which one do you feel would have been of benefit to you?
It's kind of hard.
You can like take a minute to think about it. That's fine.
Yeah, I think. So you're saying like the curriculum as in more in depth, like longer, right? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like when I say that the curriculum experience, I feel like you have projects. So like you have these individual subjects, but then you have this entire curriculum which ties it around. So like let's say you're learning these individual skills, but you're doing projects on combining all of those skills which you've acquired. So I feel like that would be the curriculum based approach. Whereas the skill based approach is just that I just teach you these individual things and that's it.
Yeah, no, I think, okay, yeah, with that understanding, I definitely prefer the curriculum based approach where you have to apply the skills to, like sort of outside of the traditional teaching model where you're just kind of like, this is skill A, B, now you're asked to like replicate skill A and B. I think in the real world, like once you go into like the workforce, usually the work that you'll be given, at least in my experience, it's more complex than just like reiterate what you learned in class. So I think learning to apply the skills that you're learning in different contexts and like molding them to what you need to do is more, it's more fun. I think it's more challenging, like it gets you to think more, it's more complex. So I definitely enjoy that more.
I see. Wow, that's good. Awesome. I have one last question. Why did you choose the Fung Fellows program?
For me, it was that I was always a little bit lost in terms of what I wanted to study in my undergrad. And I was taking some business courses really early on, like my freshman year, and then I was like, oh, public health is really interesting, but that was always a little bit all over the place. And so when I found out about the fellowship, and I was like, oh, this fellowship sounds like it will incorporate different fields like technology, health, which I was really passionate about. And you need some of those business skills. I just felt like really excited about that opportunity because I felt like there are a few things that were kind of like addressing all my interests that I had. So I thought it was going to be exciting to be part of a group of students that was working on just like more complex issues because I was always interested in more than just one thing.
Amazing. Did cost or the length of the program play any factor in your decision?
Like the 2-year program?
Yep. Like, did you ever like make a decision that hey, it's 2 years versus like would you have preferred if it was a shorter program or if it was a longer program? Like, do you have a preference?
No, I mean, in terms of like a deciding factor, I don't think like 2 years was ever like a problem for me.
Okay.
I knew early on that it was expected to be a 2-year commitment. I was of course afraid of like, oh, we're the sort of like the guinea pigs, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. So there was also always a little bit of that. But I actually liked the 2-year length. I think it really developed like a strong cohort feeling in terms of people on and who I got to work with throughout that time.
Hmm.
I also think that in terms of like, I felt like there's more continuity in the work in something that's like 2 years versus just like a semester or a year.
I see.
Um, yeah. So
Okay.
as well as like just developing a stronger like mentorship like relationships with the director, the staff,
Hmm.
for them to get to know me and be able to really give me that like unique because I think it takes time for people to get to know anyone, right? So
Yep.
after 2 years, I felt like the staff knew me pretty well, and so they could really see where maybe shortcomings isn't the right word, but those areas of growth that I needed to work on,
I
and
see.
they could remind me of the areas I do well in, and I think that was helpful for me to just be able to self-reflect and work on the areas I really needed to work on.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. Is there anything at all that you might change about the program? Like anything at all? Like I didn't like boot camp, or it could be even the smallest thing, which you would have preferred or thought like the Fung Institute could have done better.
I think the tech or there was a lot of like underutilized talent in terms of the staff. Like I think a few of the like there was a strong public health focus, which I appreciated, of course, coming from a public health background. But there was also as part of the team, people who had a teaching team a lot of like knowledge of the technical side and the technology and sort of. I think that was a little under like addressed. Like I wish I would have learned a little bit more of the technical skills like I said sometimes.
I see.
But I think that's just a hard balance because I did often hear that students who were studying engineering or whatnot felt that the curriculum that they were given for the tech sequences was just underwhelming because maybe they had already seen it. It wasn't challenging enough. So I think finding the balance with that was why it was so hard and sort of why maybe during the second year they just didn't address it much. So I would have liked for there to be like some options for students who wanted to sort of challenge themselves and learn some of those more technical skills. Definitely something I would have liked to have.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely going to keep this into mind into like developing the new program so that it's much better than the experience that you had. And yep, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It was great knowing about you and getting your comments. And
Thank you.
yeah, about the Amazon card, we'll be rolling them out around next week. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I actually have a quick question.
Sure.
So is this for further developing the Fung Fellowship program, or is this for developing MND like
Oh yeah,
Fung
sure,
Fellow
sure.
version of?
I forgot to tell you. So what I'm doing essentially is that I'm developing a new Masters of Innovation program for the Fung Institute, and it's for the liberal arts students who want to transition into the tech industry. So like I'm basically when I say tech industry, I'm not saying that I take a person from psychology and make him into a software engineer. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that I pick a person from psychology and I place him in a suitable role where it's not a lot about skills or technicality, but it's more about translating technical stuff to the non-technical audience. You know.
Right.
So like that is what I'm trying to develop, and what I'm trying to learn from you and the other Fung fellows is that how do we try to balance this tech versus non-tech group of students, and how do we sort of make that skill exchange experience a bit more easy and fun, and yeah, that's what, easy and fun. And like your feedback would also go into, so I'm also going to speak with Jennifer about this, and I guess it's definitely going to even improve the existing Fung Fellowship program.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I think one thing that might help is like to really head on. Well, because I think there was a few issues said we were the guinea pigs of sort of the fun
Okay.
fellowship. It was a lot of fun, but I think the expectation for the students coming from more technical backgrounds, I think they often didn't feel like challenged enough, and then some of these students from less technical backgrounds were feeling challenged. So I think that balance was really hard to find, and maybe having now we know that that's like a challenge, or at least something that I felt like was a challenge. So maybe like early on being able to address that, at least to be like transparent with incoming students that there is like a fluency or like a level, like a skill exchange or a skill.
Yep. I think that's definitely one of the major parts that I'm going to pitch to the Fung Institute, that like it needs to be fun for both these categories, and like how do you make it challenging enough for the tech audience but easy enough for the non-tech audience. Basically what happens is that I feel that if you make the course too challenging, it could be possible that students with a background in liberal arts might get a little disinterested because they now have to start off at a higher point, which I feel it's really difficult to do. It's and like I feel like I'm definitely gonna like brainstorm on ways on how we could improve this skill exchange. Maybe have separate classes, or maybe the liberal arts students could take a few prerequisite courses before coming into the program, so they have an idea of what they're getting into, something of that sort. And I'm definitely gonna like work on this and sort of figure out like how can we do this in a much better way. And that's about it.
Yeah, I think one way is, well, I'm trying to think. I also took a MEng course with gosh, why am I blanking out on the other name?
What? What did
It
you say?
was on like AR and VR. Oh, with sorry, I had it.
Okay.
He's also he's also part of the like Fung Institute.
Who?
It was like a 290 course.
Wait, who? I couldn't get the last part.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Sure.
You know what? I can't think of our professor's name. I don't know why I'm blanking out on his name right now.
Is it wait, because I'm an ex-MEng, so I can probably name a few people. Was it Lee Fleming? Wait, Wayne Delker.
Yeah. I was like, it starts with an S. Yeah, Fleming, Lee Fleming, yeah.
Lee Fleming. Okay.
So his course with like AR, VR had a few Fung Fellows and the MEng students. And some of the things that we had to sort of research were like technology patterns, but it was also really vague sometimes, but like maybe just like having a working, like a in-depth,
I see. Okay. So like you're working.
in-depth knowledge of like one type of technology was maybe kind of helpful. I'm trying to think of what else was kind of helpful in terms of that point.
Maybe AI. Like I think we were also thinking along the lines of like AI and stuff, but we feel that we are definitely going to let the students choose. So we are definitely going to have a few tracks, but it's not going to be like a hard. What do you think? Like a hard track, Like that. We are trying to like have this crossover. We are trying crossovers. So it's like even if you're working with AR, VR. Like you're working with someone else to generate like to develop a much bigger plan of the project, which includes both aspects of AR, VR as well as AI or games or something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like even though you're working with AR, VR, your project is actually about a product which also has artificial intelligence. So you're sort of even learning those skills, but not as much as AR, VR.
Okay.
Sort of like have a good mix of skill set, but like also make sure that you're really good at the one skill set you really want.
Yeah.
Because what we feel is that a lot of times like the students who come in, they're not sure what they really want, and it shouldn't be like we teach them entirely everything about AR VR, and
Right.
like after the project they realize that that's something they don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and that is something we do not want to happen. Like we want them to, sort of like explore what they really like in the first semester, and then sort of like go in depth in the second semester, and then even have the option of changing back, something of that sort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
that's
think that's a good point. Also,
yeah.
to like really be able to bring out what skills the liberal arts students. Because I think for me personally, sometimes I was like, oh, my skills are, not, coding or anything. So like, what am I bringing to the team? And I don't think I realized how much I could bring to the team until later, I would say.
I see. Okay.
So just kind of like, like having maybe like something where students can really say like, this is something I'm really good at and I'm like passionate about and I'm like knowledgeable in, and not letting students kind of like devalue their own knowledge, especially if they're like from liberal arts entering something like, on more on the technical side, like, there's always like a stigma or like power imbalance where it's like, like engineering students are like smarter and more capable or something. Like making sure like all students know that they're just as capable and just as smart, just in a different type of area.
I see.
With a different type of skill.
No, that is a very important point. That is a very important that is a very important point that you bring up. And now that I think about it, I think like we will definitely take care of that. I think we would try to increase. I don't know right now how we would solve that problem, but I can see that happening. Like we would definitely make sure that there is more efficient pairing within the capstone teams, and that people feel that they're contributing to the project and not just doing their own part. You know what I'm saying? Like we were trying to increase or amplify that team experience.
Yeah.
And definitely that's a very good point. Yep.
Yeah, to like amplify the fact that like, okay, me as someone who is really knowledgeable and maybe not that like knowledgeable, but
No,
who
like I totally get it.
has an intricate like understanding of the complexity of health systems can really say I need the technical person and their technical knowledge, but they also need mine. So that you like really bring out the strengths in both teams, and I think in that way there'll be a lot more like a two-way learning.
I see. No, that's totally true. I think even with the capstone I was in, I feel like a lot of times, like I think some skills within a project, like it's very easy for your teammates to not respect you because you don't know a few things, and like, we can definitely improve upon that. I feel the same way.
I think, yeah. Like I said, I never felt like that was too much of a problem with my team because we were all like on the liberal arts side, and so like our partner company was the technical side, so we kind of did have to work with each other, right? Because they had the technical experts and they came with us saying we really don't have answers to like these questions, and so that's where like, okay, they really like need and want our knowledge. So I think that like was really helpful in our project. But I know like before that final capstone project, I think those feelings did exist among like in the general fellowship.
I see.
And like in capstone, yeah, in my capstone that was a little bit less of a problem because like I said, like most of the company was engineers, and they're like, we don't know how to answer like these certain types of questions.
I see.
And we're like, okay, great, we have access to a bunch of students, like we'll work on these questions for you.
But wait, let me ask you this: like, was this a problem within like students, or was this a problem in the industry?
Sorry, say that again.
Like this problem where like people like from what you're saying that engineers don't respect maybe students from liberal arts a lot of times. Like, was this because was this mainly focused around the capstone project, or was this even extended till the industry people? Like, did the industry people ever make you feel like left out or like you're not good at stuff, something like that?
I think it can be extended out to industry, just like work culture sometimes, like So yeah, so it definitely I think affected to some degree within the fellowship, but I think it stems from like a larger culture of like, you know, there's a big gap between just the way like engineers or someone with high coding skills will be treated and respected, and someone who is like, oh, I majored in dance and performing arts or something, you know.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think I'm gonna make a separate note for that, and I'm even gonna speak with Jennifer about this, maybe. And like, don't worry, I'm not gonna mention you specifically, and like, you know, I'm gonna submit it as you're not, basically, I'm not like, you know, you're getting what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna reveal that you said it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
I was really close with the staff, and I think they also knew me pretty well. I don't think they find it particularly surprising. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, yeah, but
Okay.
I understand. Yeah.
Great. No, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
you
that.
know how else we can help, or I can help in the research or everything that's going on.
Definitely. I'll definitely keep in touch, and I'll let you know if I have anything else. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
And when are you guys thinking the program will launch?
The liberal arts one, I feel like right now, how's that going is that I'm conducting the research, and I'm gonna submit my recommendations on around by the end of this month, and then they sort of do like a mass scale survey. I feel like it is going to be launched in, I think, 2020, maybe 2020, 2021, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so like in about 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like hopefully like I'm sure that you know, it's going to be sort of like a constant improvement, and these suggestions are also going to be, you know, helpful for improving the experience for the Fung Fellows as well as the MNH program. So like yeah, we definitely want to improve the program that we currently have. You know, sort of like make it better. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's great. Awesome.
Great. Well, it was nice talking to you. And best of luck.
Just give me one sec. Yeah. What were you saying?
Okay.
Great.
Oh no, I said that sounds great. I said just like good luck, and just keep me updated, or keep us updated.
Definitely.
How things are going. I know that all the things I mentioned are not like things that are super easy to solve, but
no, definitely, but
like,
definitely.
with you and the team working on it, you can address it.
Yep. I'm so glad that you mentioned those points, and I'm gonna make a separate note of it, and I'm definitely gonna bring it up in a meeting, and we're gonna work our best to solve those issues, so that students who come in have a better experience and not feel that way. We're definitely gonna handle the situation. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'll definitely let you know how it goes, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Oops.
Yep, no worries.